These are some of the greatest Easter eggs, hidden details, and obscure facts in Family Guy. Starting with Girl Interneted, an episode that clued a lot of people into Peter Griffin's life on social media.
Don't really want to get into it, but I'm fine.
So this episode introduces us to Peter's Instagram account, Peter Pumpkin Eater 69. Nice. Anyway, this episode was released on May 5th, 2019, and one day later, an actual Instagram account of the same name posted the exact same picture. The account had actually been around since 2014, posting original images featuring the characters, but this was the first time the real and fictional accounts became succinct. This is something the show would continue to do every now and then with episodes like The Stowaway and Baby It's Cold Inside. Obviously, the next step for him would be to get a Twitch account. Would love to see how long it takes him to get banned.
Hey guys, so I'm in my own trunk. I think I'm gonna get murdered.
And in Model Misbehavior, the show continues the time-honored tradition of hiding a pause-worthy message in the newspaper.
Wow, Mom, you look pretty.
Thank you, Chris. I thought so too.
If you do happen to pause the scene with a newspaper headline, you can see in the bottom right that another headline reads, DVDs paused for headline joke, millions disappointed. It's funny to think how this joke was originally designed for DVD viewers only, as the idea of streaming or even being able to pause and rewind a live show didn't exist. And now DVDs are as endangered as a white rhinoceros. Oh, how times have changed.
And I'll pleasure myself to your photos.
Me too.
Me too.
Oh, God, Meg, that's sick!
And The Simpsons guy's an episode that just from the title you already know is going to be packed full of references and cameos.
Yeah, we did it.
What's he doing here?
Now, we gotta carry him because he can't fly on his own.
And this isn't the only reference to another adult animated show, as during the epic fight between Homer and Peter, Roger from American Dad is seen on Kang and Kodos' ship.
Yeah, it's really great, isn't it, guys? We went to summer camp together.
Oh, so I guess all aliens just know each other. Do better to work past these harmful intergalactic stereotypes, Family Guy. But Roger has appeared on the show multiple times, that's not new. He has a few cameos in the Star Wars parody episodes and even repeats one of his first lines he ever spoke on American Dad in the episode Meet the Quagmires.
Who ate all the pecan sandies?
But the funny little detail of his appearance in The Simpsons guy actually comes from his parting words.
Bye, thanks for having me.
The significance of this line was that American Dad was just taken off the Fox network right before this episode's premiere. The show would stay off the network for over 10 years, though it's about to return home in 2026. So this scene can be seen as less of a thanks for the cameo line, but more of a thanks for letting me on the network I was just kicked off of line. Well, Roger's finally coming home, finally filling the cross-dressing void Fox has been needing for so long. And another American Dad cameo can be seen in Killer Queen, though it's surprisingly not a member of the main cast.
Well, how come you don't have to go? You're better than I am.
Huh. Good question, Peter.
So Peter and Chris end up attending a fat camp in this episode, home to many similarly portly young men, including someone all the way from Langley Falls.
I just dug in and started stuffing that chicken into my mouth.
Embarrassing.
I've done that.
If you don't watch American Dad, you'd think that redheaded kid was just another extra made for the show, but nope, that's Barry Robinson, one of Steve Smith's teenage friends. He doesn't do much in this episode and barely says a word, but it's a nice little nod to Seth MacFarlane's other series. And I'm guessing the fat camp didn't take to Barry, though seeing all that murder probably made him a little more unhinged than he already was. And if you take a close look at Peter's iconic white shirt in any episode, you may notice he isn't wearing the most gender-traditional outfit.
What the hell is that? You're wearing a wire!
So it appears that Peter may have actually been wearing a woman's shirt all these years. The way you can tell is that men's shirts traditionally have their buttons on the right, while women's shirts often have their buttons on the left. Now, there could be a few reasons for this. It could have been done intentionally to show how inept and unaware Peter is, or it could actually be an oversight from the animation department. Either way, you can go ahead and stan your non-gender conforming king.
You're not wearing that to church, are you?
What? Yeah, why not? This is what I always wear.
And the episode Heartburn would nail a small detail about history that some people might not even think about.
The people of Troy's chocolate has gotten into our peanut butter.
The people of Greece's peanut butter has gotten all over our chocolate.
If you take a look at the statues in the background, you may notice that they're painted with the color they would have had at the time, rather than taking on the faded look most people probably associate them with. This may seem like a bit of a no-duh fact, but many people think historical statues were always stone white and are represented as such in other media. So props to them for the accuracy. They can't make their characters medically accurate with 5 fingers, but at least they nailed this.
One look at Medusa and I'm rock hard.
Mythologically correct.
And a brief inclusion of a picture in the background of Fresh Air could be a reference to one of Seth MacFarlane's earliest jobs.
I'm excited for your first dance, and now we're ready to add music.
It could be a stretch, but the ballet slippers in the picture behind them look very similar to the slippers seen on the door of Dee Dee's room in Dexter's laboratory. Before Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane served as a writer on the show, along with other Hanna-Barbera cartoons. It would definitely explain the character of Stewie, who, like Dexter, has a hidden lab in his house. But unlike Stewie, I don't think Dexter has committed as many war crimes.
Wow, look at all this cool stuff.
And Family Guy would include a subtle little bit of symbolism with Brian and Jillian's relationship, something that can first be seen in Whistle While Your Wife Works.
Who's your cute little friend?
Oh my. Hello, Stewie. Charmed.
So if you take a close look at the choker Jillian's wearing, you may notice that it looks very familiar to the collar Brian is always wearing, red with a gold circle. This may have been a spur-of-the-moment decision for the animators, because if you look at the promo image for this episode, Jillian's wearing a different piece of jewelry with a heart design. But maybe it's just a coincidence, as even after they're long broken up, Jillian continued to wear the same choker.
And pretentious.
Definitely pretentious.
And he's got a big ego.
I guess she just always wants to keep a little piece of him with her. Or the more likely scenario, she just has no idea how to get that thing off. And the episode Guy Robot shows us that not only is Meg constantly ignored in the real world, but she's also ignored in the digital one as well.
God, it's like I'm the only person in the house who gets social media.
So if you look all the way over on the right, you can see that Meg has sent Lois a Facebook request, but Lois hasn't responded to it. Other neat little notes on this page involve Brian liking Barack Obama's post and Pawtucket Patriot Ale being recalled due to contamination. Now, I don't want to point any fingers, but judging by how Peter just joined a pie-centric Facebook group, I wouldn't doubt he was just trying to make a pie-infused beer. Many great men are hated for their ideas before they're loved. And in Don't Make Me Over, the show references a character played by one of the stars of Family Guy in the past.
I am the band. Right, Miss Swan?
Oh yeah, she bad. Oh, lady jealous.
If you weren't too familiar with Mad TV back in the day, you may not recognize the character of Miss Swan, who was played by the voice actor for Lois, Alex Borstein. And after seeing that clip, yeah, there's probably a good reason why Borstein doesn't play that character anymore. At least she kind of plays a more respectful role with Trisha Takanawa, right?
Some lucky hideous woman will be transformed by our makeover magicians into someone of value to society.
Yeah, who are we trying to kid? And the episode One If by Clam, Two If by Sea has a cheeky little message to the audience, letting them know they may need to adjust their televisions.
I've never been defeated, except once.
This can be a real tricky one to spot, but if you look at the walls the bikes are riding past, you can see it actually spells something out if you look at it upside down. It reads, if you're reading this, your TV is upside down. So this is a fun little gag for those who see the world upside down, like Jake Tucker, Bats, and Australians.
Hey, is that Stacy Beecham?
Where?
And the episode Throw It Away is home to a plethora of callbacks and Easter eggs to past episodes, all locked up in Peter's storage unit.
Everybody thinks they can kick me out? Well, who gets the last laugh now?
So many things to spot, but the ones that stuck out the most to us are the Gary the No Trash Cougar outfit from Blind Ambition, the Kathy Ireland cutout from Family Guy, the suit of armor from Mr. Saturday Night, and Peter's erotica novel from Peterotica. Honestly, some of these are just too good to part with. You really never know when you're gonna need to dress up as a crazy cougar to scare children again.
Pick it up! Pick it up! Pick it up! Pick it up!
Thank you, sweetie.
And another series that Family Guy's mentioned a ton is Robot Chicken, though most of the time they don't have anything kind to say, like in Blue Harvest.
I don't think people are even aware of that show's existence.
Well, I don't know, Dad. I think a decent number of people watch it.
Of course, anytime the show gets brought up, it's usually at the expense of Chris, who's voiced by Seth Green, one of the co-creators of Robot Chicken. It's clear by the amount of jokes the show makes about it that Green has a sense of humor and is willing to laugh at himself, though it is pretty funny how personally Chris takes these attacks.
How's it feel to be on a major network for 30 seconds?
Yo!
And it's not like Robot Chicken hasn't made fun of themselves on their own show, even bringing in Seth MacFarlane for a little dig.
Robot Chicken? I haven't heard that name since it got renewed.
Robot Chicken's renewed. How'd you do that?
And the episode Undergrounded contains a nod to a classic episode from Family Guy's early years.
Because you can't stand up to your wife, I'm gonna die.
Relax, Quagmire. Nobody's gonna die.
So when the guys get stuck in an underground tunnel, a downward pan from street to below reveals the Native American skull from Season 4's Petergeist. I'm glad to see that not having a body hasn't stopped Chief Diamond Phillips from moving around, because I'm pretty sure he was buried in the backyard, not in the street.
What the hell?
And Road to Germany would make reference to one of the most widely known songs to come out of Germany.
We're having much better luck developing this impressive collection of 100 Luftballons. Oh, damn.
This is of course in reference to the song 99 Luftballons by the German band Nina, which turned out to be their most popular song globally. You may also be familiar with the English version of the song, renamed 99 Red Balloons. For me, I'll always remember it as the song that threatened to break my ankles in Dance Dance Revolution. I think that's a nice little nod to the country of Germany, especially considering that most of the other references usually center around a particular group from World War II.
These filths are making a mockery of our Reich! Execute them!
And in Halloween on Spooner Street, Adam West is visited by two kids dressed as characters that the actor has played.
There you go. A Cornish game hen for you, a Cornish game hen for you.
Granted, these are Temu versions of these characters, but it's still pretty easy to see where the inspirations came from. The boy in black is obviously a reference to Batman, who West portrayed throughout the 60s. But the girl is a bit of a more modern reference, most likely giving a nod to Catman from The Fairly OddParents, who was also a parody of Batman as well. Not only is this a cute reference to Adam West's past, but a quick reference to McFarlane's buddy Butch Hartman and his successful animated series. It just goes to show that if the role involves tight spandex, Adam West is all over it.
Would you like some gravy? Sure, you'd like some gravy.
And in Steroids, Chris directly references the inspiration for his voice. And this isn't just some random spurt of cross-dressing and junk tucking. This is of course a direct reference to the murderer Buffalo Bill from the 1991 thriller film The Silence of the Lambs. According to Seth Green, the frightening character was the original inspiration for the voice of Chris Griffin, though it's easy to see that Chris's voice eventually morphed into something a little higher.
I love the Christmas Carnival!
But it does sound like the Buffalo Bill inspiration is starting to bleed back into the performance. No doubt because Seth Green is getting tired of making his throat bleed while voicing this character.
Yeah, let me just take this out of your way, Mom. You and I are gonna have a wonderful holiday together.
But did you know that the iconic intro to Family Guy is inspired by a popular family sitcom from the 70s?
There's violence in movies and on TV.
The intro takes direct inspiration from the show All in the Family, whose intro also began with a husband and wife serenading us over a piano, reminiscing over the past, even sounding kind of similar to Peter and Lois. The show was quite controversial at the time for its unflinching approach to the prickly topics, from racism to anti-Semitism. Obviously, the boundary pushing bled into Family Guy as well, though maybe a bit too much. Even the most eye-opening and controversial episodes of All in the Family don't hold a candle to the average Family Guy scene.
You know what, Brian? I will. Oh my god!
And in Love Thy Trophy, the show uses Stewie to pay tribute to another creepy little kid from pop culture.
Clumsy oof! Michael Flatley must be turning over in his grave. Wait a minute, he's not dead. Yet.
So that spelling of red rum with the blocks over there is a direct reference to Danny Torrance from the horror film The Shining. Red rum is a phrase Danny repeats over and over again throughout the film, and the truth of the phrase is, now brace yourselves for this one, it's murder spelled backwards. And here I was thinking Danny was just asking for a nice stiff drink. Stewie also happens to be pretty into murder as well, although he's way more direct.
And a kid talk to his finger?
Oh, can't you see Stewie doing that?
And the episode Road to Rupert had a little Easter egg referencing Family Guy's one and only movie.
Give you $1 for this.
Sold.
If you look closely on the table, you can see the DVD cover for Stewie Griffin: The Untold Story. This was a direct-to-video television film that saw Stewie traveling to San Francisco to track down who he believed to be his real father. The film was later split up into 3 separate episodes as part of season 4, but for the time, this was treated as the show's big movie.
When I heard that we were gonna be in a movie, I was like, yeah!
Alright.
I guess it wasn't the launching off point for Hollywood that the cast thought it'd be. Otherwise, they wouldn't be pawning off the DVD for nothing at a yard sale. And in the story on page 1, the show throws in another little message for eagle-eyed viewers.
Luke Perry. That's it.
It's a very quick blink and you'll miss it moment, but the magazine featuring Luke Perry has a little blurb underneath. If you can read this, Family Guy is on the air. Now, if you happen to be watching this episode on DVD sometime in 2003, that would probably be the only time this scene could be considered a lie, as the show was canceled after its 3rd season until popular reruns on Adult Swim and high DVD sales brought it back. But I guess this is one of those rare times that you can trust what you see on TV.
You are so soon.
And in North by North Quahog, Peter and Lois get a glimpse at Passion of the Christ 2, where Jesus has a pretty funny license plate.
Man, you crazy, Jesus! You crazy!
If you took notice of the car's front license plate, you'd have seen it read WWID. This is a parody of the popular acronym WWJD, which means what would Jesus do? But since this is Jesus' own personal ride, the phrase has the J replaced with an I, as in what would I do? Apparently what he would do is drive through police blockades and get into shootouts. I'm sure there's a verse in the Bible about that somewhere.
You know how to use one of these?
You know how to use one of these?
And the kiss scene around the world introduced us to a nameless but memorable character with a fan name eventually being recognized by the show itself.
You're a phony!
Hey, this guy's a great big phony!
So while this guy hasn't ever officially been named, fans took to calling him Holden Caulfield. This is after the narcissistic protagonist of J.D. Salinger's classic novel The Catcher in the Rye, who also has a penchant for calling people phonies. In a way, he kinda birthed the idea of calling people NPCs. And while the show has never outright adopted this name, it did make mention of it in the DVD special features version of Something 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 Dark Side. This guy should probably follow the real Holden Caulfield and be put in a mental institution, because it's clear he does not know how to exist in the real world.
You know who lives in this house? A great big phony!
And the Star Wars parody episode Blue Harvest is home to many cameos, but not all of them are intergalactic.
Play that same song! Alright, same song, here we go!
The Cantina scene is home to a few cameos of people you'd probably expect to see in space, like Bender from Futurama and Roger from American Dad. But then there are a few odd additions, like the evil monkey. I guess it makes sense as he is a character in the show, but sitting right next to him is a bit of an odd inclusion. That's Coach McGurk, who's neither an alien nor a Family Guy character. He's from the Adult Swim show Home Movies and also happens to be voiced by H. John Benjamin, voice actor for Carl in the show. I guess Family Guy and Home Movies must have become buddies while on Adult Swim together, and McGurk found an opportunity to bring his lazy style of coaching to other planets.
I don't know why they call it Hoth. They should call it Cold.
Okay, settle down.
And can you guess what the most repeated phrase in all of Family Guy is? Here's a hint. It's the only reasonable reaction to what goes on in this show.
Good day to you, sir.
Hey, wait a minute, what the hell?
Yeah, the phrase "what the hell" is used in some capacity in almost every single episode, whether it's used in disbelief,
What the hell have you been complaining about?
anger,
What the hell is this?
or acceptance.
Oh, what the hell? Come here, Hillary.
It's a super versatile phrase that can be used in a variety of different ways. And now that you know this, it might be the only thing you notice in episodes going forward.
What the hell, man? I was gonna make it!
And in You May Now Kiss the guy who receives, Mayor West takes comfort in the fact that he isn't the only one struggling right now.
Well, it's encouraging to know that I'm not the only Mayor West who's facing difficulties.
Now, he's just confused and doesn't realize that the Mayor West they were complaining about on the news is him, but the line can actually go a little deeper. In 2005, Mayor James E. West of Spokane, Washington was under fire for a slew of abuse allegations against young boys. West would eventually admit to engaging in homosexual acts, even though he was constantly in support of anti-gay legislation. And coincidentally enough, Mayor Adam West is also in support of a gay marriage ban in this episode, though he eventually comes around to abandoning it. So congrats, Adam, you're only the second most unhinged Mayor West, which isn't even a ranking we knew existed.
Would anyone like to play Stratego? I have Stratego.
And the episode Pilling Them Softly makes a one-off comment that doesn't get significant payoff until 6 seasons later.
Wow, there are a lot of different kinds of medicines.
There's a cat in here.
So while Stewie's comment may just sound like an absurd interjection, the cat is actually a very useful tool in the hospital. For instance, it's used during Lois's eye surgery way later in season 20's LASIK Instinct. Now that's some long-term storytelling, and a great inspiration for all the cats out there trying to get their medical license.
It was take your cat to work day.
And Married with Cancer all but confirms our suspicion that Brian is actually illiterate.
Aw, you would do that for me?
All except for number 17. I'm allergic to chocolate.
What he's referring to is a list of naughty fantasies his new girlfriend is hoping to complete before she dies. However, when we get a good look at the list, number 17 doesn't actually mention anything about chocolate. It says while doing my job as a school photographer. Now that's a number 17 Brian can and does help with. And there are also 2 little references in the list as well, with those being Moe's Tavern from The Simpsons and the Orville from the titular show that Seth MacFarlane created. They just won't rest until every inch of the universe is tainted by their adultery. And the episode Peter's Daughter has a dirty reference akin to those Disney conspiracies from back in the day.
Isn't that his truck?
Well, by God, Brian, we're murderers.
And if you were to read the first letter of each word of the company name on the truck vertically, it would read, well, you know. It kind of reminds me of the days when people claimed animation was hiding dirty subliminal messages in everything, like the stars in The Lion King spelling out the same thing. Family Guy has no need for such subtlety and will show a lot worse things without even trying to hide them. And the episode Dial Meg for Murder kind of references an infamous scene from a rather controversial movie.
My house now,
This curb stomp scene could be in reference to the 1998 crime drama film American History X, in which a white supremacist does the same to a man who attempted to steal his truck. It's a startling scene that honestly isn't any more humorous when used in Family Guy. I guess the only thing we can rest assured of is that there wasn't any racial hatred in Meg's stomp, though it does lack the finesse of a Seth Rollins curb stomp.
There better be beer in the fridge.
And in adult education, the show throws in a small reference to a character played by one of the co-creators of South Park.
All right, places.
Sloppy hose, scene 1, take 1, Mark.
The guy clapping the film slate looks an awful lot like Dave the Lighting Guy from the Trey Parker written and directed superhero comedy film Orgasmo, who's played by fellow South Park creator Matt Stone. Well, that was pretty nice of them to do, especially considering the South Park creators wouldn't pee on Family Guy if it were on fire. Why do I feel like peeing on people probably plays a role in that film?
Get that cigarette out of the shot. Kids are gonna watch this.
And if you look closely in the background of Play It Again, Brian, you can see a character designed after one of the most iconic figures in horror movies.
We may be leaving Martha's Vineyard, but the spirit of this wonderful place will stay in our hearts all the way home.
During the ending musical number, you can spot a man in green who looks a lot like Quint the Shark Hunter from the classic horror film Jaws. But this isn't just a random cameo. His inclusion is probably due to the fact that the movie was filmed in Martha's Vineyard, no doubt scaring everyone out of the water there for years. This was the ending Quint could have had if he weren't such a maniac, but someone had to be that shark's lunch. It's just the natural order of things.
Yummy.
And The Simpsons guide contains a popular reference to the greater world of animation.
Hey, Chief, we could arrest every single car thief in Springfield.
After the show, Lou. After the show.
If you take a look at the car Chief Wiggum is leaning on, you'll notice the license plate says A113. This number is a long-standing reference among animators, nodding to the classroom number at the California Institute of Arts that many prominent animators attended. A113 is often found across a ton of Disney and Pixar animated films, and it looks like the Family Guy and the Simpsons team wanted to throw in their own reference as well. Honestly, it might have been what led Disney to acquire Fox and thusly the two shows. Paying tribute to the mouse goes a long way.
What do you have to say about that, Griffin?
Go!
And the episode of Fistful of Meg reveals that Meg isn't actually short for Megan.
Robots in disguise.
Yeah, so apparently Meg is named after the main antagonist of the Autobots, the Decepticon Megatron. Meg might be embarrassed, but honestly, it kinda goes hard. I'd rather parents name their kids after toys from the 90s than add a bunch of X's or suffixes to pre-established names. No, Carol, Jaxlyn Lee is not a real name.
Tell him, Megatron.
Do as I command!
Okay, jeez.
And we know Family Guy enjoys a running joke, which is probably why they decided to partake in one of the longest running inside jokes in Hollywood history.
Well, this has given me a lot to think about.
You probably recognize that one very noticeable scream. That's what's referred to as the Wilhelm scream, an iconic stock scream sound effect that first originated in the 1951 Florida Western film Distant Drums. Since its inception, the scream has been used in hundreds of films, from Star Wars to Indiana Jones, so naturally it finds its way into multiple episodes of Family Guy. Not to be dramatic, but it might just be one of the most famous things to come out of Hollywood. And I bet the guy who did the scream never saw a dime for it. Don't you just love show business? And in Brian Does Hollywood, Family Guy gives two longtime collaborators the flowers in a bit of an interesting setting.
The next award is for Best Original Score in an Adult Film, and the nominees are Ron Jones.
So the show name drops both Rod Jones and Walter Murphy, both of whom are composers for Family Guy, with Murphy being the brain behind the show's iconic theme song. Hey, gold is gold no matter where you get it from. They just, might want to disinfect any gold they get from an adult film award show.
Award goes to Brian Griffin.
Woo!
And in the episode Griffin Winter Olympics, Meg proves to be a star biathlon athlete, even though it doesn't seem like she's doing it right.
Bitty bitty bop.
Funky, funky.
So you may notice that there's quite a bit of recoil when Meg fires her rifle, but in reality, biathlon rifles are specifically designed to have little to no recoil. Maybe that's just an oversight from the animators, but isn't it more fun to pretend that it isn't? Meg could either have pretty weak arms or is just straight up using the wrong kind of gun. All that training dating back to the days of Lacey Chabert, and she couldn't have Googled it once?
Meg, that was amazing!
And in Nanny Goats, we learn what Peter's phone number is, but it might not just be his number.
I like good times.
So while that does appear to be Peter's phone number, that same number pops up again in the following episode, Follow the Money, only this time Seamus is claiming it's his number.
Oh, my dollar. I guess Meg didn't care.
The main difference between the two numbers is that Seamus's has an area code and Peter's doesn't. So either the show accidentally used the same number for two different people, or Peter and Seamus just happen to have almost the exact same number except for the area code. It's definitely not impossible, and honestly, it might mean the two of them are soulmates.
All right, well, if you're ever free, here's me number.
And in Family Guy Through the Years, the show pays tribute to another character that one of the stars used to play.
Yeah, just be careful with your collars on the way in. They're kind of sharp.
So at the end of the third section of the episode, which takes place in the 70s, we see the family at a graveyard where Meg is dressed in the colorful attire of the time. But this isn't any random outfit, it's actually borrowed from the That 70s Show character Jackie, who was played by Meg's voice actor Mila Kunis. Honestly, it's a pretty good fit, and one of the few things worth remembering about the 70s.
I'll kill you! I'll kill you! You didn't hear the songs I heard!
And in The Father, the Son, and the Holy Fawns, Stewie invites everyone to change the channel and check out the women on Desperate Housewives.
Old people are gross, no matter how cute they try to make them look on Desperate Housewives. Go ahead, switch over to ABC for 5 seconds.
But the only issue with that is, if we were to look at the TV guide for the date this episode premiered, you'd see that the two shows didn't actually run at the same time, as Desperate Housewives came on right after. If only they'd saved that joke for American Dad, then they'd really be cooking with gas.
Oh my god, did you see? Did you see how old and ugly they are?
And the episode And Then There Were Fewer has a very brief holiday reference, but probably not the one you're thinking a murder mystery would reference.
Oh my god, it was him! It was James Woods! He killed Stephanie!
He may have also killed a beloved Christmas character, because if you look in the top left corner of that shot, you can see the head of a deer with a red nose mounted on the wall. Could this be the famous reindeer Rudolph who finally overcame his drinking habits caused by all that bullying? It's always the ones who don't deserve it that get taken so early from this world.
And someone ate the last goat cheese tartlet.
Oh, now I hope I die next.
And in Happy Halloween, we get to see a very brief glimpse at the true form of the Peter hologram. It's a very quick moment, but it shows the hologram to be more monstrous than it appears, almost looking similar to Stewie's dream monster and a lot going on upstairs. But the scariest form that the hologram took has to be that of the prototype Peter Larry. There's a reason this guy never made it to primetime television. And the episode April and Quahog has quite an interesting video game Easter egg that even Die-Hard fans may not have noticed.
Dad, can we please have a turn at the Xbox?
Just a second, Meg. I'm still trying to get the hang of this.
So at the end of the episode, Peter is playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and ends up being killed by a player with the tag 402. While this might sound like the most bot name imaginable, it's an actual account and is owned by Robert Bowling, the former creative strategist for Infinity Ward, the studio that developed the game. And if Peter keeps playing like this in front of one of the game's figureheads, I think Robert would be in the right to use his power to permaban him.
Oh, drop the grenade! Idiot! We're gonna play! Moron! You suck!
And the iconic intro to the show makes sure that it's perfect down to the last detail.
Kids still lining up around the block for those piano lessons? I wonder which has more clutter on it, the piano or your treadmill?
So while the intro moves very quickly past it, if you take a look at the sheet music on the piano from the very first frame, you can see that it's actually accurate to how the song is played. It's a little detail that didn't need to be there, but we certainly appreciate the attention to realism. Those costume changes, however, are a different story, but we'll let that slide for now.
She's camel-toeing the hell out of that leotard.
And in Throw It Away, the dirty website that Peter's lurking on is an actual web address, but one that takes you where you aren't expecting.
Oh, God, what I wouldn't do to that.
So the address of that website, cornography.com, is legit and will take you to a website. But don't worry, you don't need to fire up the incognito browser for this one. Going to that address actually just takes you to Family Guy's page on Fox 1, where you can sign up to watch all the episodes of the show. Good on them for buying that domain before putting this episode out. You just know there's some sickos out there that would have put out some eye-melting stuff on there if they didn't.
Come on, it's not like it's gay corn. It's gay corn.
And Movin' In Principal Shepherd's song features a quick nod to one of the show's long-running teammates.
My catchphrase is herf derf?
So the bookstore that Brian ends up visiting is called Naren's Books. Michael Naren is the name of one of Family Guy's storyboard artists, having around 39 episodes credited to his name. But wait, if he's a storyboard artist, there's a high probability he snuck this reference in himself. Well, I guess it's not as bad as writing a self-insert, but you're on thin ice, buddy.
Actually, could you use a Sharpie?
No, my mom says I can't use Sharpies. They're permanent.
And if you've ever wondered why so many places in Quahog are named or designed around clams, well, there's an actual reason for that.
Good day, gentlemen. Welcome to the Drunken Clam. Can I get you boys a mug of stout?
So the name of the town, Quahog, actually gets its name from a species of clam found on the east coast of North America. This particular mollusk is also known as the hard clam, round clam, and hard shell clam, and it would make sense that a Rhode Island town would pull its name from the native wildlife. And thus, locations like the Drunken Clam, the Fuzzy Clam, and yes, the Sweaty Clam all pay tribute to those little guys. And it's also where I get my devilish good looks from. The seagulls just can't keep their beaks off of me.
Clam ho!
And the show just can't seem to be able to decide on Lois's middle name, because it's changed from episode to episode.
I haven't had an interview in a while, and I want to make sure it's formatted correctly.
So in the episode Call Girl, Lois's resume reveals her full name to be Lois Patrice Griffin. Simple, elegant, and strong. The name of a woman who can take on the world after doing the same job for 3 decades. But when we get to season 18's Peter and Lois's wedding, her middle name goes through a change.
Do you, Lois, common denominator Peter Schmidt, accept this man to be your lawfully wedded husband?
Now, given how this whole episode completely rewrites the established lore of the show and is designed to be a Friends parody first and foremost, it's probably safe to say this isn't her real middle name. It's definitely the funniest one, though. Look, if you're gonna name your son Criss Cross Griffin, surely you could have spread the love of silly nicknames to the rest of the family.
Christopher Cross Griffin, what are you doing?
And the episode Shanksgiving gives yet another nod to a Family Guy team member who also played a role in the Cleveland show.
Next time, I'm asking for the quote-unquote top bunk. LOL.
So the guy to Peter's right, Orlando Gumete, is actually the name of a storyboard artist and assistant director for the show, who also served in the assistant director role for the Cleveland show. Gumete also has character layout credits for other adult animated shows like The Simpsons and Futurama. Not really sure what a character layout is. Is that like what Marge Simpson did for Playboy that one time?
Oh my god, Tyler, do you remember this?
I do.
And in Connie Salika, the show doesn't even try to dispute the claim that they borrow from The Simpsons.
Hey, neighborinos. So not a huge deal, but if you guys could keep your chittering down.
So this may be one of the more low-key pulls from The Simpsons, as the term neighborino is often spoken by The Simpsons' happy-go-lucky neighbor, Ned Flanders. It was only fitting that they took something from Ned. That's what he gets for seemingly being the only one to not show up for the crossover episode.
It may have been inspired by Duff, but I like to think it goes in a different direction.
And speaking of the crossover, you may notice in The Simpsons guy that as soon as the Griffins enter Springfield, their appearances look a little different.
Apu, a dozen donuts for our albino visitors.
So the color palettes of the Griffins are noticeably lighter in this episode, with the most apparent change being their skin tone, which looks a bit more pasty this time around. This was actually done so the Griffins would mesh a little bit better with the Simpsons color palette and art style, since most of the episode does take place within their realm. The family definitely looks like they could use a tan, but something about the sun over Springfield has its residents looking a bit lemony.
Oh, and don't drink the water. Everybody around here looks like they have hepatitis.
And at the end of the episode Boy's Best Friend, Peter and the guys throw their German audience a bone by speaking a little of the language.
Ich bin froh, dass alles wieder normal ist.
Tut mir leid wegen deinem Auto, Joe.
And unlike many times in the show when the characters speak a bunch of gibberish to make it seem like they're speaking in another language, this is actual German. Peter's glad things are back to normal, Quagmire apologizes to Joe about his car being destroyed, Joe says it's okay, and asks where Jerome is with the wiener. And we may never know exactly what Joe is referring to when he says wiener, and honestly, we're okay with that. Keep your secrets, Germany. We won't ask any more questions.
Gute Nacht von das Disney Corporation.
And in Crimes and Meg's demeanor, Peter makes a shocking discovery when he finally discovers the twist about Kevin Spacey's character in the film The Usual Suspects.
He was gay the whole time!
Well, he's off the mark about the movie, but not about the actor. While this episode came out in December of 2017, the controversial actor officially came out in October of that year. However, because episodes can sometimes take over a year to make, that means the writers would have had to clock this truth before it became public knowledge. I don't know what it is about this show and its Kevin Spacey premonitions, but it's honestly kinda scary.
Help! I've escaped from Kevin Spacey's basement! Help me!
And in the episode Peter Schmidt Manor, one of the characters goes to bat for their voice actor's past.
All the kids at school said I'm Mad TV funny and not SNL funny.
Oh, Lois.
So this is yet another reference to Lois's actor Alex Borstein and her time spent as a regular cast member on the sketch show Mad TV. She shouldn't be too sad though. Now if they'd called her ridiculousness funny, then it would have been time to pack it up and change schools.
No, I'm not a comedian. I could never.
And the episode Twain's World marks a somewhat significant moment for one of the characters.
How did all these great writers from the past get their ideas? When did we get a bookcase?
So Peter, Lois, and Meg don't have any lines in this episode, though they do appear near the end. This marks the very first time in the series where Peter appeared in an episode but said nothing. Now, there have been episodes without Peter before, but this is the first time he's appeared without saying a word. Then again, I doubt he even knows who Mark Twain is, so he wouldn't have had much to add to the conversation.
Now raise your hand if you like Latinos with giant shiny derrieres!
And in Teagues for Two, Brian and Quagmire decide to have a double date in a very fittingly named restaurant.
Oh, hey guys! Fancy me running into you here.
Oh, hey, Quagmire.
So the restaurant they're at is called L'Espèce d'Andouille, which roughly translates from French to the stupid fool. As fitting a name as I've ever heard, considering that's exactly what Brian and Quagmire make themselves look like. Maybe next time they should look for a place that translates to the guy who doesn't ruin all his relationships.
Was still smaller than that thing you had on your lip for 3 years.
Oh, 3 years. You mean like the 3 years you have left on this planet?
And the episode China Doll has a cameo from a suspicious toy from one of the show's past holiday episodes.
Thanks for making our stuff. Thank you. Our country stopped making stuff, so thank you for making the stuff.
So when Brian and Stewie visit the Chinese factory Rupert is from, you can spot another somewhat recognizable toy, the Happy Asking Panda from Season 20's Christmas Crime. I guess that means they're still a huge hit in the States. Man, kids really will plug your credit card number into anything, won't they?
You got any more passwords? The panda loves them.
And in P Terminator, one of the characters gets identified for a role their voice actor played in the past.
I need your gun.
No problem, evil-looking Peter.
So when the P Terminator scans each of the guys at the clam, Joe's description reads Putty from Seinfeld. This is of course acknowledging Patrick Warburton, the voice of Joe, for his role as Putty, one of Elaine's boyfriends from the comedy show Seinfeld. Probably not the most shocking realization, as no one quite has a voice like Warburton. Although I don't remember Putty screaming quite as much as Joe does.
This is the I was talking about!
And in 80s Guy, Family Guy finally has an answer to the eternal question, was that a JoJo reference?
Hey, you want to end the show with a to-be-continued meme?
I don't even know what that...
Granted, I don't think the show knew it was referencing one of the most beloved anime of all time. But while the to-be-continued meme was a thing for quite a while, it did originate from the show JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, complete with a roundabout song and everything. Not bad for a show that probably doesn't even know what an anime is.
Hey Lois, me make drive time to a super fun clam with Noble Quagmire and Wheel Monster Joe.
But what's your favorite Easter egg, reference, or hidden detail in the show? Let us know down in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any new Family Guy videos.